Good morning, everyone. Oh, wow. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. I am so loud. Oh, my goodness. Welcome to those of you online. Welcome to those of you here in the room. It looks like maybe a few people are taking advantage of sunshine today. Can't really blame them, but come on in, sit down, make yourselves at home. You have landed in a place that is dedicated to celebrating all the good things in life, welcoming them and opening to more, and remembering that you are whole, complete, and perfect, just as you are. So we begin this morning with a general good morning, which means this is a time to get up and move around the room, introduce yourselves to people that you don't know, welcome people you haven't seen in a while, and just generally greet one another. So go ahead and mix it up for a minute or so, and those of you online, take a moment to refill your coffee, give yourselves a hug, and we'll be right back with you in just a sec. Oh, wow.
Sue's there.
Oh, that's great. Here, let me.
I don't know where she wants to put it.
Oh, okay, let's ask.
Where would you like it?
Well, I'd like it to be visible. I don't know where to put it to make it visible. I wonder if Karen would mind. Ask Karen Frost if she would mind if we put it up here and move the pedestal one.
Okay.
All right. All right, I'm going to invite you to come on back to your seats now that you've had your great good mornings. This is going to be a good morning. You know how I can tell? Because the slower you are to go back to your seats, the more unruly you are, the better. So we're looking forward to a really great morning this morning because it was hard for me to get your attention. Everybody was busy chatting. That's a good thing. This morning, we have Faith Rivera back with us, who did the music. She stepped in to substitute for Harold Payne a couple weeks ago. She opens hearts, transforms lives around the globe through the power of her music. So here this morning from the sunny shores of Hawaii is Emmy Award-winning singer-songwriter Faith Rivera, and we're going to sing a couple of songs with her today, one for opening and one for closing, of course, that are chants that are fairly repetitious, so you should be able to pick up on them pretty quickly. So I'm going to invite you to stand up now as we get ready to welcome Faith Rivera. Come on, Faith. Hello. There you are. Stand up. Let's go. This is called Coming Together.
Aloha and good morning from here in Hawaii all the way to you. I'm going to ask you to open your hearts and lift up your voices and sing along, okay? You're going to repeat after me. Here we go. I've got love.
I've got love.
I've got peace.
I've got peace.
I've got joy.
I've got
Flowing
joy.
like a river. I've got love.
I've got love.
I've got peace.
Got peace.
I've got joy. Flowing like a river. One heart.
One heart.
One mind.
One mind.
One love.
One love.
Flowing like a river. I got hope.
I've got hope.
I got strength.
I've got strength.
I got faith to move every mountain. I got hope.
I've got hope.
I got strength.
Got strength.
I got faith.
Got faith.
Move every mountain. One heart.
One heart.
One mind.
One mind.
One love.
One love.
Move every mountain. I got you.
Got you.
I got me.
Got me.
I got us coming together. I got you.
Got you.
I got me.
Got me.
I got us coming together. One heart.
One heart.
One mind.
One mind.
One love.
One love.
Coming together. You know I coming together.
coming together,
Oh, we're coming together.
coming together,
Oh, we're coming together.
coming together,
You know we're coming together.
coming together.
Oh, one heart,
One heart,
one mind,
one mind,
one love.
one
Coming
love.
together. I got you,
Got you,
I got me,
got me,
I got us. Coming
us.
together. I got you,
I've got you,
I got me,
I got me,
I got us.
coming together.
One heart,
One heart,
one mind,
one
one
mind,
love. Coming together. You know we're coming together.
coming together,
Hey, we're coming together.
coming together,
Oh, we're coming together.
coming together,
No, we're coming together.
coming together.
Oh, one heart,
One heart,
one mind,
one mind,
one love. Coming together. One heart,
one heart,
one mind,
one mind,
one love. Coming together. Big finish. One heart,
one heart,
one mind,
one mind,
one love. Coming together. Oh,
Yes. Thank you. All right. Very good. All right, so now that we've made a little bit of noise, we're going to turn within and become still and centered and unified in consciousness. So I want to invite you to silence your cell phones and prepare to turn within with our morning prayer practitioner, Lori Greer.
There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is whole, perfect, and complete. Nothing missing. Everything necessary for its unfoldment is contained within it, and there is no limit to it. It is boundless, infinite, free, love, joy, prosperity, and abundance. And every part of life is a part of God. All of the expressions of life, the nature, the trees, the wind, the rain and the sky, the people and the cars and the buildings, every grain of sand, every drop of rain, every star in the sky, countless, infinite, and forever and ever unfolding and becoming more. And I am a part of this wholeness. I am a part of this expansive, infinite unfolding. My life is one of the places where it, God, continues to reveal itself more fully and completely as me, as all of the interactions in my life, as all of the opportunities, as all of the ways that I experience joy, beauty, freedom, connection, love, because I'm a part of this one life. My life is whole, perfect, and complete. And as I know this truth for myself, I know it for each and every one. And so I call forth and claim for us in this moment an opening in mind that allows for us to let go of any preconceived ideas, letting go of any notion of unworthiness, any thought or idea that does not align with the absolute perfection and wholeness that is the truth of our being. We are one in God. No separation. Only one. And so knowing this, I know that this day is already blessed and holy, and bringing to each one the perfect idea, the perfect new thought, the perfect way to step into life so that we experience more of its good, because that is the truth of our being as well, that God wants only good and more good for us. And that good is right here and right now. And so I give thanks for the connection and the joy of this community, and for all of the ways that our interactions serve the greater good of love in the world. Because what we do here today in consciousness ripples out and touches every other part of life, and everything changes. And so I give thanks for this prayer, this demonstration that comes forth today, knowing that the spoken word placed into the law is always acted upon. The law always responds, and it always demonstrates at the level of consciousness. So I give thanks for what shows up, knowing it is all a gift. And so I let this prayer go now into that law. I let it be and know that it's done. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Lori.
This is a song of mine entitled E Como Mai, which in Hawaiian means welcome. Welcome with love. And it's a song I wrote when we moved back home about 5 years ago, after living in LA for 20-something years. My husband and I took our 2 little kids and we came back home. And our sweet Ohana, just welcomed us with open arms as if we had never been gone. And the energy of this land, in Hawaiian land, is Aina. So the feeling of the welcome, even from the Aina, from the nature and the land here, was amazing. So I'll ask you to tap into your own feelings of the warmth, the sweetness of home. It's been forever since I called this home. Something about this place that moves my soul. I feel the Aina and the warm sunshine. Still makes me happy after all this time. Open arms, gentle smiles, they welcome me with loving eyes. E como mai, oh, e como mai, oh, e como mai, I'm finally home. E como mai. My auntie always greets me local style, with hugs and kisses so sweet and kind. She never tries to hide the way she feels. She lives aloha and her love's for real. Oh, open arms, gentle smiles, they welcome me with loving eyes. E como mai, oh, e como mai, oh, e como mai, I'm finally home. E como mai. Home is where I long to be. That's where I feel the island breeze. Oh, it fills my soul. I am home where the rainbows paint the sky. Home where I'll raise comes my precious child. Oh, I am home. It comes mine. Oh, it comes mine. Oh, it comes mine. I'm finally home. It comes mine. It comes mine. Oh, oh, it comes mine. Oh, it comes mine. I'm finally home. It comes mine. I'm finally home. I'm finally home.
So today we're talking about following the path back home and the recognition that, yeah, that too, see, home is so many things to so many of us. So as we look at this year of living out loud and we come to April, we're coming to our theme of this anniversary month. You can see we got the celebrational lights on this morning because this is our 40th anniversary month. Next Sunday, Easter Sunday, is our celebration of our 40th anniversary because we opened on Easter Sunday in 1983. And you can see we've got our poster over here for the celebration that is going to be greeting us in the anteroom, the foyer area, before we go into the concert on Friday night. So we're celebrating all of that, and because there's no place like home is the theme, I had to have the ruby slippers, right? Because that's how Dorothy discovers there's no place like home, is when she finally has the opportunity to go back. So we're talking this morning about following the path back home. And I want to talk a little bit about home. So we're speaking of home in two different kinds of ways. When I was in graduate school, I was taking a class about our genomes, our relatives, our things that we pass down to each other, and our genealogy, our lineage. And in many indigenous traditions, including the European indigenous traditions, it used to be that when somebody was being introduced or when they were introducing themselves to a group of people they did not know, they told what their name was, and then they said daughter of, and named their parents, and granddaughter of, and named their grandparents. So they placed themselves in a family circle, not just presenting themselves alone. That was an appropriate way to let people know who you were. And so one of the things I learned in that class, or one of the things I was intrigued by, is we had an instructor who, like me, her ancestry is in the British Isles, but she had had a Native American teacher who was talking about the power of the land and being, oh, well, there we go, being in the land that you come from, that your roots come from. And this Native American woman said to her, as much as you love the United States, where you come from, you can't imagine how you'll feel when you stand on your own soil, where your people came from, where they really, way back, where they came from. And so that's one idea of home, like going back to the place where your ancestral roots are, really reconnecting with that place. Then there's also for us the idea of the mystery, the infinite, as home. And when we look into that, we know that we're always somehow on our way back, that this life is a path, that we're always on that journey on the way back. And sometimes we feel like a stranger in a strange land. You know, I know sometimes some of us feel like, how did I land in this family? I don't feel like I'm like any of these people. How did I land in this family? Or how did I land in this city or this state or this situation or this relationship or this job? Does this make sense? I'm saying? Well, we wonder that because we don't feel like we quite match up with where we are. But what we have to remember, I think, is that we're figuring it out as we go. So whether we're in a new land, a new country, because for the majority of us, and I would dare say maybe everybody in this room, all of our people, our ancestral roots, they had to travel a long distance to get to this land from someplace else. And when they came here, they didn't speak the language, they didn't know the customs, they practiced their religion differently, and they had to create it from scratch. When I lived in Canada, which by the way is another country, and I know that sounds funny, but it's like we think that, well, they're a lot like us and they speak English and they're, well, yes and no, yes and no. We're not quite two countries divided by a shared language, but we are different. So I came across this story about a person coming from another country to Canada. So in the middle of winter, on just his second day in Canada, the new immigrant in Waterloo, Ontario, wisely decided to invest in a winter jacket. He went into a store and chose a thick, warm coat from the rack. The clerk spoke and gestured, but the newcomer understood only that he was in an argument and that he was not welcome in the store. After a few minutes, he left. He later purchased a coat at another store down the street, and he also made up his mind to remember that first store that wouldn't serve him. Several months later, understanding much more English, he walked by the first store, and as he passed by it, realization dawned because he now understood the sign outside, dry cleaners. This is, of course, why they wouldn't let him take the coat, but this wasn't something that he understood at the time. So, you know, Joseph Campbell said that life is like coming in the middle of a movie where you don't really know what's going on, but you don't want to disturb everybody by asking a lot of questions, and then being called away before it's over, so that you never see the ending kind of that whole story. We have our own little subset, our own little piece of the story. So I would like to say that we are all just here on loan. We're on loan to the earth. And everything that's here on this planet has a temporary life. It exists for a while, and then it dissolves and goes back into the elements, into the nothingness. You know, it shifts in that way. So for us, we've been loaned to the earth. We're not in our original homes. And sometimes we feel that as we're going through our lives, that this visit here on earth, we're on a temporary but necessary quest. And the quest is something that allows us to bring forth more of what we really are, what is maybe not used yet by us or is still invisible to us, to bring that forth for our own benefit and also for the benefit of this place and this time where we've landed. Ernest Holmes said, "Nature will not let us stay in one place too long. She will let us stay just long enough for the unfoldment and the advancement of the soul." So our time here is necessarily limited. It's a small snapshot of the entirety of our soul existence. We come here for a little while, we taste some food, we learn some stuff, we grow, and then we go home. We go back to where we really belong, where we came from. We're no longer on loan. We're no longer traveling like Faith. We're back home again in the land of our origin. The home, though, is never quite completely forgotten. There is always in our lifetimes, I think for all human beings, even those who are in the Buddhist practice of, being in the here and now and accepting what is and surrendering attachments, there is still, for all of us human beings, a recognition that we're seeking something. We're not quite sure of what it is, but there's something that we'll know when we recognize it, that we're looking for, that we're seeking throughout our lifetimes. And sometimes things seem close to that. This place, this person, this job, this conversation, this book or discovery, whatever it might be, it feels closer. It feels closer to us than maybe we have felt. The journey is always busy leading us home. A Course in Miracles describes it this way. It says, listen, perhaps you catch a hint of an ancient state not quite forgotten, dim perhaps, and yet not altogether unfamiliar, like a song whose name is long forgotten, and the circumstance in which you heard it completely unremembered. Not the whole song has stayed with you, but just a little wisp of melody, attached not to a person or a place or anything particular, but you remember from just this little part how lovely was the song, how wonderful the setting where you heard it, and how you loved those who were there and listened with you. This little wisp of something that floats around within us, that's our homing beacon. You know how homing pigeons, you can send them out from anywhere, but they know where they came from and they go back there. So there is this little wisp of something that is our homing beacon. And we're tuned into it, but we don't quite know where it's coming from at this point. Ernest Holmes went on to say, God is always God. No matter what our emotional storm or what our objective situation may be, there is always hidden something in the inner being that has never been violated. We may stumble, but always is that eternal voice, forever whispering within our ear, that thing which causes the eternal quest, that thing which forever sings and sings. That's the homing beacon. That's that little wisp of melody, that little something. So the journey inevitably leads us home. We don't have to worry that we're not going to make it, or that we're going to get lost, or that we won't be allowed back in when we get there, but we'll be sent off to some other ungodly place. But rather that when we go, we will be welcomed back home. The ohana, the spiritual family that's there for us, will be thrilled to welcome us back, saying, well, what did you do this time? How was it? So it's like being in a maze where you're not quite sure how to get to the center of it, except that it's really not a maze, it's more like a labyrinth, which means that the path, even if it diverges and goes in different directions, all the paths land at the center. So no matter where you go, you're going to get there. You may take a route that takes you further away from the center for a while, but eventually it will bring you back, because this is a closed system. There's nowhere else for you to go. Within this infinite universe, which is infinite, we can't get out of the infinite. So the system always brings us back around. You know, it's like the idea that all roads lead to Rome. All roads lead us home. That's where we want to go. So in the process then of going home, I want to look a little bit this morning at the idea of the hero's journey again, because the hero is a very interesting character. And I'm using the word hero, whether male, female, non-gendered, transgender, just the hero. And the hero is the one who stands out in the story as somebody who needs to step out in courage to do something they don't know how to do, to bring something back that is a great gift to themselves, but also to their larger family or community or whatever it might be, yeah? So I want to talk about Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz with her hero's journey, but just in the context of our theme, really. So we have all of these heroes in stories that we're used to. We've got King Arthur. We've got Luke Skywalker. We have Harry Potter. We have Jesus. And we have Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. This is just a handful. And one of the common things that comes up in the hero's journey is that the hero is fostered not by their own family, or orphaned, or hidden away to protect them, so they don't even know who they are. And sometimes a number of those things. But they're not in their exact family of origin, you might say. So, you know, Luke Skywalker and Harry Potter are raised by an aunt and uncle. And Dorothy also is raised by an aunt and uncle, not by their parents, right? Jesus is said to not be Joseph's son, but Joseph raised him. Because, you know, in Greek and Roman in ancient times, anybody special had a god as their father, usually. Sometimes as their mother, usually as their father. So those avatars were being raised in a human family that wasn't their whole family. You with me here? So we too are kind of like that. We are the ones who are being fostered in a human family that we didn't come from, and neither did they, because all of us are kind of like, if you ever read Heinlein's book, Stranger in a Strange Land, that young man is somebody who was born into a colony on Mars, where everybody dies or something, and he's raised by Martians, and then brought back to Earth, where he doesn't know how to deal with the gravity or anything in the way that people think or behave. He has been fostered away from his home. So he grew up, you know, we think about our language of origin. If you speak multiple languages, then the first language that you spoke is maybe what you gravitate towards, even if you live in a land where you don't speak that language very much anymore. Coming into the earth realm, we have to learn the rules. We have to learn how to interact with other human beings and become the hero on our own journey. Now, one of the things that happens with the hero always is that they have to leave home. They may leave home, like Luke Skywalker wants to leave home, but then a crisis occurs and he has to leave home. It's not like a choice anymore. He has to go. Harry Potter has to go to Hogwarts. Dorothy has to go to Oz. Why? Because there was something so much more for these people in these stories to discover about themselves. There were aspects of themselves that they were completely unaware of and had to learn about the power that they had. So Luke Skywalker has to learn how to use the Force. Harry Potter has to learn how to use magic. Dorothy has to learn how to use the ruby slippers. Because, as Glinda the Good Witch says to her, says when somebody asks her, why didn't you tell her all she needed to do was click her heels together and she could go home? Because she gets the ruby slippers, you know, right off the bat. Glinda says she wouldn't have believed me. She had to discover it for herself. She had to learn it for herself. And then the characters that are with her, one of them says, well, what have you learned, Dorothy? And she says, if I ever want to go looking for something, I won't look any further than my own backyard. Because if it isn't there, I never really lost it in the first place. So what is our own backyard? It's our own inner being and our connection to that infinite realm. You know, this is Palm Sunday, and I think it must have been a very uncomfortable day for Jesus, because he was a rabbi, a teacher, a speaker. He did his best to help people. On Palm Sunday, which is what we call this Sunday, he goes into Jerusalem and he makes an entrance. Now, I'm not sure why he decides he needs to make an entrance, but he decides to make an entrance. And I'm not sure that even he expected the level of response that he got. It was like people came out of the woodwork and they were singing and they were waving palm branches and they were putting palm branches down on the ground for his donkey to walk over. And it was a big hoopla. Now, I wonder in that moment if he was thinking, they're not getting the point. Or if he was thinking, next week is going to be a bear. Or, this week that I'm heading into, I'm not enthused about. Whatever it might have been. I don't know. But I think that when they all decided to make him the focus, they were missing the point. Because the point was to come back to that practice within ourselves that was his practice. When he said, do what I do, or what I do you can do, or do this in memory of me. Some of those things in Aramaic, the actual wording means according to my manner. In other words, do what I do. So when I pray, this is an example. When I help people, this is an example. When I do this or that, connect with God that way, and you'll experience what I experience. You'll do what I do. No, you're the one, do it for us, do it for us. You know, I was talking with somebody the other day about how it becomes easier for some of us as human beings to latch on to anybody who tells us they absolutely know our answer. They know what's right. They can tell us what to do. We don't have to worry about being wrong. And that's why religion gets to be so structured. It's like, okay, well, we need to keep this unruly crowd in line, but we also need to give them some guidance. So since we're the authorities, we will tell them what the rules are, and then we'll make sure they follow those rules. And we will tell them if they follow those rules, we will guarantee that they get into heaven. In the meanwhile, they behave well. So we sometimes as human beings, we want somebody to do that. Tell me what to do. Why do we go to tarot card readers or fortune tellers or palm readers? Or why do we have our astrology chart done or our auras read or any of the things we go to where we want to find out what's going to happen? What should I do? And human beings have done that forever. We find somebody, you're the oracle, you're the prophet, you're the God man, tell me what I need to do, rather than tell me how to find that golden thread within me that leads me home, that shows me who I am and what to do. Now, I think if you land in Science of Mind, probably you're one of those people who was out there looking for your golden thread yourself for quite a while anyway. You maybe were someplace where there was a clear prescription of what you were supposed to do, and some part of you went, yeah, but maybe not. So we are in the process, I think, every one of us, whether we know it or not, we're looking for the clues that help us find and follow that golden thread that brings us back to home. Lao Tzu said, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. And Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, there comes a time when everyone must take an uncompromising stand, a time when faith and trust in God alone become the only course of action. So these are the times that somebody said, thank God I knew how to get down on my knees and pray, because sometimes that was the only thing I knew how to do. So he says, this is true for every person seeking spiritual healing. They begin with hope, though a fear of the past or of the future may still be present. And as they turn to the Spirit within, willing to follow wherever it may lead, there comes a new vision and a new purpose. The more will be revealed. Now, the tricky part about the more that is revealed is that there are no guarantees that we actually absolutely have it right, that we're not going to make mistakes, or that we're not going to fall down a hole or have some other problems. In fact, it's probably required that we do, because that's what cracks us open and allows us to grow and to learn. So just as there is a crisis or a divine discontent that causes the hero to leave home, something happens. For Dorothy, she was looking for another place when the tornado took her. She had just decided to go back home, as far as the movie is concerned, when she winds up in the house in the cyclone that, then lands on the Wicked Witch. You know the story. Yes, everybody knows the story. So she's on her way, and then she goes back. Same thing happens, sort of, with Luke Skywalker. He wants to get away, and he does leave and sneaks out to go and find Ben Kenobi, and he finds him. So he's left home, not intending to stay away from home, and Dorothy left home, like any kid who runs away from home, decides to go back, right? And then they go back home, and home is not there anymore. They can't go back to the foster home because it isn't there. Luke Skywalker's aunt and uncle have been killed. Everything is decimated because they're looking for him, like Jesus. Dash off to Egypt with the parents taking him away because they heard the rumor that all these children were going to be killed. All these male firstborn children were going to be killed. So they go to Egypt instead of going home. So also, Dorothy goes home, but then there's a cyclone coming, and her whole family is in the cyclone cellar. She can't get in. So she goes back into the house with the dog, and the tornado takes the house. Home is gone. Now, what's interesting to me, well, no, I'm not even going to go there. Okay. So the hero out on the journey then, they can't go home. They're out on the journey. They have to face crises and challenges where they have to face their own weakness and figure out what to do. And in every case, these heroes on their journey, as they face a particular challenge that they don't know how to do, they're not sure how to overcome it, they do something. They don't run away. Even the cowardly lion doesn't run away. And that's what makes him actually brave. Not that he isn't afraid, but he doesn't actually run away. He says, please talk me out of it, but he doesn't run away, right? So as we leave then, we discover, because we have to face obstacles and difficulties, we discover resilience and strength in ourselves that we didn't know we had. When we're parents, we would like to prevent our children from going through those things because we remember how challenging and difficult ours have been. When my former husband and I were divorced, our son was 5. I was really concerned that this divorce was going to have a huge negative impact on him. And I can remember my minister in Seattle at that time was Reverend Jim Munson, who was the minister here later on. And Jim said to me, you know, Mary, he looks like a little tiny person, but Luke is really an old soul. He chose you and Will. He knew you weren't going to stay together, but that's something that was useful for his soul. You don't get to take his lessons away from him. That's not your right. That's not your duty. That's not what you're here for. If it upsets you to watch him struggle with these things, that's your work to do. But this is how he is taking his work. This is what he's choosing. Now, that's something I need to remember to tell my son now, because my grandson is 15, and he's facing something very difficult right now, doing it pretty well. But the challenges are for us as parents to watch them going through that, yeah? And yet for each one of us, when we look back on those times in our lives, we would often say, I wouldn't trade that, even though I would never want to go through it again. I wouldn't trade it because it gave me this. And that's what the hero's journey is for us. So when we look at there being no place like home, when we want to go back home, the road will take us there, but it will also take us on some detours that force us to learn and to grow and to expand. Then we return home stronger and wiser than we were before we left in the first place. Joseph Campbell gives us this encouragement. He says, "We have not even to risk the adventure alone, for the heroes of all time have gone before us. The labyrinth is thoroughly known. We have only to follow the thread of the hero path. And where we had thought to find an abomination, we shall find God. And where we had thought to slay another, we shall slay ourselves. Where we had thought to travel outwards, we shall come to the center of our own existence. And where we had thought to be alone, we shall be with all the world." Because we're all on the hero's journey. We're all trying to get back there and to take back what we came for. So I tend to say to my people, my students in foundations class, that my personal belief is that we all came here with a gift to give and a lesson to learn. And the best way to learn the lesson is to give the gift. And the best way to give the gift is to learn the lesson. So when we finish with the gift and the lesson, however old we are, then we go. Remember Ernest Holmes, nature will not let us stay in any one place too long. Sometimes from the outside, it may look to some people like it's been too long. What are they still here for? You know, as people get older and older, or whatever other complications come up in their lives. But that's part of the soul's journey too. So we're on our way home. We're all heroes on the path. We are homing. We're homing toward home again. One of the things that Pat Malone, who is our graphic artist, one of the things she does is she quotes, I think it's her husband, who always says, well, onward and somewhere. And that's really what we're all doing. It's onward and somewhere. We're not quite sure where the somewhere is, but we know it's there, and we'll recognize it when we get there. So we are homing into that onward and somewhere. Now, many people have told me, and you may have felt this way, I certainly did, when they went to a Science of Mind church, a Center for Spiritual Living, a Church of Religious Science, as we used to call it, for the first time, it felt like home. Something felt right. Something clicked into place. It sounded like they're speaking my language. They're talking about stuff that I believe, or that I think is true, or that I understand, that I never expected to hear a church say. So that was my experience too. It felt like home. It felt familiar. It's not quite all the way home, but it feels like an important stop on this journey, an important place in the homing on the sacred path home. And the gifts that we develop when we're here, or that we discover, or that we're given and we learn how to use, they were always actually within us. They were always there, but they were either dormant or we were not able to see them. They were unrecognized by us, maybe or maybe not by other people, but they were unrecognized by us until we had to make use of them, even though we didn't think they were there. And that's when we discover what we can do. I'm thinking of Yoda now saying to Luke Skywalker, Do or do not do. There is no try. So, Joseph Campbell once again says, if you can see your path laid out in front of you step by step, you know it's not your path. Your own path you make with every step you take. That's why it's your path. And Gary Zukov, who wrote The Seed of the Soul, says, the light that flows through you is universal energy, and you give it form. What you feel, what you think, how you behave, and how you live your life reflect the way you are shaping the light that is flowing through you. And Masanobu Fukuoka, who is a Buddhist teacher, says, the ultimate goal of farming is not the growing of crops, but the cultivation and perfection of human beings. So, the soul's journey, the hero's journey on earth, is not about learning how to be a human being. It's about the cultivation of the soul. Because the human part of us is temporary, but who we really are is eternal. So I want to share a story with you. And this is a story about a person who received a heart transplant. Now, Paul Pearsall wrote a book quite a while ago called The Heart's Code, and it was about the experience of transplant patients who felt attuned to their donor, even though they had never known them. This one is about a little boy. The donor was a 16-month-old boy named Jerry, who had drowned in a bathtub. The recipient was a 7-month-old boy named Carter, who had severe heart problems. The donor's mother, who was a physician, so this is Jerry's mother, says, the first thing is that I could hear more than Jerry's heart. I could feel it. When Carter first saw me, he ran to me, pushed his nose against mine, and rubbed and rubbed. It was exactly what we did with Jerry. Jerry and Carter's heart is 5 years old now, she says. When Carter hugged me, I could feel my son. I mean, I could feel Jerry, not just symbolically. He was there. I felt his energy. I'm a doctor. I'm trained to be a keen observer and have always been a natural-born skeptic. But this was real. I know people will say that I need to believe my son's spirit is alive, and perhaps I do, but I felt it. My husband and my father felt it, and I swear to you, Carter said the same baby talk words that Jerry had used. Well, we stayed with Carter's family over a weekend, and in the middle of the night, Carter came in and asked to sleep with my husband and me. He cuddled up between us exactly like Jerry did, and we began to cry. Carter told us not to cry because Jerry said everything was okay. My husband and I and our parents and those who really knew Jerry have no doubt. Our son's heart contains much of our son and beats in Carter's chest. On some level, our son is still alive. And then Carter's mother, the recipient's mother, said this, I saw Carter go to Jerry's mother. He never does that. He is very, very shy. But he went to her just like he used to run to me when he was a baby. When he whispered, it's okay, Mama, I broke down. He called her mother, or maybe it was Jerry's heart talking. And one more thing that got to us. We found out talking to Jerry's mom that Jerry had had mild cerebral palsy, mostly on his left side. Carter has some stiffness and shaking on that same side. He never did as a baby, and it only showed up after the transplant. The doctors say it's probably something to do with his medical condition, but I really think there's more to it. Carter had never met Jerry's father, she says. So when we went to church together, we came late and Jerry's dad was already sitting with a group of people in the middle of the congregation. Carter let go of my hand and ran right to him. He climbed on his lap, hugged him, and said, "Daddy." We were flabbergasted. How could he have known him? Why did he call him Daddy? He never did things like that. He would never let go of my hand in church and never run to a stranger. And when I asked him why he did it, he said he didn't. He said Jerry did it, and he went with him. Home is so much more than we realize. Just as that little child carrying another little boy's heart could recognize who that little boy loved, so we recognize the stones that lead us along that path, the homing beacon that calls us along that path to home. There's something in us that recognizes it and knows it, even when we don't know how we know. And so all we have to do is keep following what's next on our own path. We may be walking into Jerusalem, through Good Friday, whatever's going on in our lives at the moment. This is a part of the breakthrough that brings us home. So I wanted to share with you just a couple of things that happened in 1983 when this church was founded, because we started on Easter in 1983. In January of 1983, the internet was born. The Nazi war criminal Klaus Barbie was arrested in Bolivia. The A-Team debuted on television. And after 11 years and 256 episodes, MASH ended, and it was watched by more than 106 million people, the most watched TV broadcast on record up to that time. In April, Alice Walker won the Pulitzer Prize for The Color Purple. In May, Return of the Jedi opened. The HIV virus was identified. In June, Sally Ride became the first American woman in space. In September, Menachem Begin resigned as Israel's prime minister. And in November, Bill Gates introduced Windows 1.0. In December, AT&T, or AT&T Bell, was broken up by the US government. That holiday season, the craze was Cabbage Patch Kids. Barney Clark, the first man to receive an artificial heart, died after 112 days. The first camcorders were introduced, the first compact discs and players for them, and the first mobile phones were introduced by Motorola. All of that happened in 1983, just that 1 year. And Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living opened in Circle on the Square in San Francisco under the name Community One Church of Religious Science. Community One. And that is us. So we celebrate this Palm Sunday together as the descendants of everybody that was there on that first Easter as Community One. We are a part of their walk home. Namaste. All right, so let's take this inside just for a moment. Blessing the journey that we're on, we know that because God is infinite and unlimited love, that the path is meant to be good, that the path leading us home is meant to bring us gifts and joy, as well as challenges, and that we are created for the path, created for the challenges, created for the expansion and the delight of learning and discovering and bringing that richness with us back home, while leaving a blessing here behind that was our presence. We too have descendants. We have family, physical family. We have spiritual family. We have friends. We have colleagues. And every life that we've met and touched, we have left something with. As each one of them walks their sacred path, we too walk ours. This sacred spiral of blessings is what we were born into this life for, and we are well prepared, so we welcome it. We welcome the Palm Sunday. We welcome even the Good Friday. We welcome the Easter Sunday. We welcome the return, the place where we find the source of that homing beacon and know that we are indeed home. And right here and now, that home exists everywhere, as well as right here in this room, as well as right here within us. So this morning we make space for that heavenly home, whatever we want to call that. And we're grateful for the reminder and for being and being on the path. We know that it is blessed and we are guided and it is good. And so we claim that with gratitude and step forth on that path with enthusiasm, with confidence and courage. We let this prayer go knowing that this is the truth of us now and always. So we let it go and we just let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Yes. All right. So, this now is our morning affirmation. Please stand and join me. We say this in unison, so together. There is something within me that knows so clearly that my sacred home is always available, welcoming, and calling me home. I trust this call and all the adventures it brings. I know I go deeper and gain wisdom and strength on this pathway home, and so it is. Thank you. You may be seated. I want to invite the ushers to come forward. We're getting ready to receive the offering blessing this week. So if you would like to text your offering this morning, you can do that. The number is 415-779-7613. But you can also give in any of the other ways that we typically give, and many of you give automatically. You are on an auto donation process. God bless you. That's the most wonderful thing. It means if there's a disaster and we suddenly have, landslides, that we can still keep being present. We can still keep being available. We can still make the space open for those who want to discover us. We might be on the internet during a disaster, but the fact that we have these gifts allows us to continue. So thank you for all you give and all you do in every area of life, but especially what you do and what you give to us here at Golden Gate, because what you do blesses us, but it also blesses you. And so we're going to bless the offering that we're sending off and that we've been giving throughout this week by saying this right now together. This is our giving affirmation. This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is. Go ahead.
This is a beautiful song by my friend Ani Zonnefeld and Jim Cregan entitled Always Come Home. And it's a song I recorded because I love the love in this heartwarming song. is the warmth of your home, even with the snow coming down. You taught me how to fly after many tries. Thank you for being around. You know there will be a day I'll choose to fly away through mountains and valleys. I stretch my wings, oceans wide, riversides, my whole world sees. When I am tired, I will always come home. I need to make my way to places far away, see what's beyond my view. In shadows of this tree, I've lived happily. It's time for me to find my own. Let me go bravely. Don't be afraid for me. Through mountains and valleys, I stretch my wings, oceans wide, riversides, my whole world sees. When I am tired, I will always come home. If I drift away, face against the wind, I won't be discouraged. If I go with the flow, let nature teach me how to grow. I know I'll grow through my
So on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, we do, all of us now, accept this offering. And we send it out to do its work in the world of bringing more courage to people on their sacred path home. And so it is. So for any of you who are here with us for the first time this morning, I want to direct your attention to the back table on this side where Galen is waving a blue card around. You're going to find there are welcome packets, among other things, back there on the table for you. And in the welcome packet, there's a blue card like that. If you fill that out and give it to Galen, we're going to give you a little book as our thank you for being here this morning, and also as our invitation to come back. It's a good book to have with you on your sacred path. It's called Nourishing Thoughts. It's a little inspirational book. And we hope that will remind you to come back and be with us often in the future. Also, we want to thank everybody who helped us on our sacred journey today by setting up the sacred service. And I especially want to draw your attention to the altar by Karen and Randy Frost over here. We did cover up one of their paths to put the 40th anniversary poster up, but if you peek behind there, you'll see there's another winding path, and they have 2 games here that are children's games that have winding paths. One is the Game of Life, and the other one is Candyland. So you've got both the journey of life and also the reward, Candyland. And then we have, for good measure, also plenty of bunnies, because, you do. Yes, Joe?
Interrupt, I would like to personally heartfully thank Sue Ruda for her amazing media work, as well as Josh. Thank you so dearly much. We are very honored to have such excellence in our media presentation. Thank you.
And we also thank Pat Malone, who assisted in the creation of that. Yeah. Yes. I want to let you know, too. Oh, and let's applaud for everybody who, not just for that, but let's applaud for everybody who participated in setting up this morning. Yes. Thank you. Okay. So I know that a number of you have brought giveaway things on Sundays, kind of like, giveaways that you put on the bar in there for people to take if they want. And that's great. However, next Sunday, we need to use that bar for drinks. So there will be no freebie space next Sunday. The week after that, you're welcome to bring stuff. But next week, leave that clear for us to use for drinks. Also, we need now for Easter Sunday, for the sign-up sheets back here for food, we need appetizers. We need a sliced, cut-up roast chicken. We have plenty of desserts. Everybody's favorite thing to bring. We have plenty of desserts already. So talk to Paula Yu, who will be at the back table at the end of the service today, selling tickets for the concert. Talk to her at the sign-up sheets back there if you have an idea about something and you want to make sure that it would work. We always appreciate salads and veggie dishes and stuff like that as well. All right. Just want to make sure you knew that. And we want to sing happy birthday to those who are having a birthday in April. If your birthday is in April, please stand. Yay. All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear April. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. Yes. Now, the concert is Friday night. You need to get your tickets. Paula actually has physical tickets that she's going to be selling at the back table back here this morning. They're $30 a piece or $50 for 2. They include the concert with Karen and Gary Lynn Floyd at the Sheraton next week and a champagne and dessert reception afterwards. Reverend Carol and Reverend Lloyd are going to be here with family and friends at the concert and on Easter, so you'll want to join us, and it's going to be really wonderful. You can also buy tickets on our website. I've been telling you the wrong page forever, but if you go to the calendar page and look for the 7th of April, you can click on the concert, and then you'll find out how to do that online if you want to do that, and so that will be fine. All right. Also, next Sunday is Easter. Yes, yes, yes. Shout it out. You're not wrong. Next Sunday is Easter. And so we want you to come. Come and bring your friends and relatives and neighbors. Enjoy the food that we're going to have after the service. Enjoy the wonderful service with music with Karen Drucker and her band, and with Reverend Lloyd, Reverend Carol, and myself. We're going to be up here. We're going to share the talk time next week, and the Easter potluck brunch will happen afterwards. I'm told that it's supposed to be 72 degrees next Sunday. So let's bless that thought and just keep envisioning it as being lovely and sunny and warm and great for Easter Sunday. If it wants to pour the next day, no problem, all right? Also, I want to remind you that I'm teaching the foundations class. That is the starter class that all the other ones come after. You have to take that class to take anything else. I'm starting it a week from Tuesday. You can sign up at the back table. You can sign up by calling the office or emailing administrator@ggcsl.org. Also, the Sunday after Easter, Marilyn Letzos, who's a practitioner right here, stand up, Marilyn, so they can see you. Marilyn's going to be teaching Quick Start on Zoom. It's 2 hours, and love offering basis, and it's a wonderful way to get retuned into your path if you've lost track. Also, the week after that, Barbara Cox and I are doing the Legacy Circle workshop, which is about the second half of life, exploring the second half of our lives and looking at what it means to be in that stage of life, what we want to leave after us, what we want to prepare for now, how we want to live our best lives right now. And there will be food. That's going to be right here in this room 3 Sundays from now. And of course, I want to remind you of Wednesday evening meditation. It's prayer and meditation this Wednesday night, 7:15 on Zoom. Once again, go to the website calendar and you can click on the event and it'll take you to that event's page where you can access the Zoom link from there. And that is it for announcements. So I just want to remind you that, as Ernest Holmes said, we believe in prayer more than any class of people on the planet. We have, in fact, licensed practitioners whose main service in the church is to pray here with you on Sunday morning, to encircle the room with me, as they're just about to do, to teach classes, and to do private sessions with people who want an actual paid session. That's what they're trained to do. So practitioners, would you surround the room right now? You can put in a prayer request, a written one, at the box there, if you like, but you can also go over and have Ann or Leslie do a prayer with you this morning at the table. So, yeah.
For those of you that don't know this, Jane Jennings is in intensive care at Marin General, and I spent about an hour and a half with her yesterday, and she'd really like to have visitors.
Oh.
So any of you that know Jane or would like to spend some time, it was really delightful, and I know that she'd really like to have visitors. So.
Great, and we're in general.
Right.
Okay.
So let's add her to the prayer.
She is included. All right. So as we wrap up this morning, let's turn within. And all of us together are going to pray simultaneously over you, for all of us. So just open your hearts and minds and let this flow over you right now. And so it is. Please, please stand and join me for the closing blessing and song. As we say together now, I now walk. Are we not there? Yes, we are. I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for spirit and all people and I are one eternally. And so it is. And here is Faith with our closing song.
Yes, I've got the ukulele out for this one. It was inspired by a fan, a friend. See, during COVID, I wanted to be of service somehow, and I said, why don't you write me how you're feeling, what's on your heart, and, we'll turn it into a chant. And this is what we did with this one. A woman wrote in and said, I just really want to lift up prayers, and lift up faith for everyone, for all that we're going through right now. And it resulted in this fun chant, and I hope you will sing along, okay?
This is fast.
I've got hope, yes I do, not a little but a lot. Hope in my heart, hope is my rock. Hey, 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 you sing. Hey, hey, hey. I've got love, yes I do, not a little but a lot. Love is my heart, love is my rock. Hey, 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 hey. We're lifting prayers and faith for everyone. We're lifting prayers and faith for everyone. I've got peace, yes I do, not a little but a lot. Peace in my heart, peace is my rock. Hey, 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 hey. I've got trust, yes I do, not a little but a lot. Trust in my heart, trust is my rock. Hey, 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 hey. You sing. Hey, 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 hey. We're lifting prayers and faith for everyone. We're lifting prayers and faith for everyone. I've got you, yes I do, got us, that's what. You in my heart, you are my rock. Hey, 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 you sing. Hey, hey, hey. I've got me, yes indeed, plus you, my boo. We are the heart, we are the rock. Hey, 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 you sing. Hey, hey, hey. We're lifting prayers and faith for everyone. We're lifting prayers and faith for everyone. Yes, we are lifting. We're lifting prayers and faith for everyone. Woohoo again. We're lifting prayers and faith for everyone. Everyone.